Welcome to the DO Boxing Show. I'm your host, Dameon Okposio, and this is going to be episode number 48. And we're going to be talking about financial support programs for boxers. And this topic came about because I was asked a question via Facebook from my good friend Charles. I call him my good friend. I haven't actually met him through Facebook, but we've had great conversations, and he's definitely a fighter in and out of the ring. So in his question, part of it, he asked, are there any financial support programs out there for up-and-coming boxers? And I think it was a great question. Thanks for asking it, Charles. When it comes to financial support programs, the only ones that I'm aware of in boxing are for carded athletes that become part of the national team. So if you are a national team, my understanding is if you qualify, you can become a carded athlete, which means you'll get a monthly stipend from Boxing Ontario to be able to compete and travel and fight for the country representing Canada. Aside from that, I don't know. I don't know if there's even any financial gain from winning a medal. The Olympians that are out there will be able to better answer that. But that's part of the problem with the sport of boxing. First of all, there is basically barely any promotion. I've had the only amateur and professional magazine that's nationally distributed through Chapters in Indigo. I've owned it now for 17 years. We had a hiatus from the end of 2008 to the beginning of 2013 when we relaunched. But in that time, I've never received a press release from any of the amateur governing organizations, and I've never received a press release from any of the professional fight promoters outside of Orion Sports Management. Outside of Orion Sports Management, a lot of fight promoters never took advantage, and that was at a time when I used to do a lot of coverage for free, basically. So boxing doesn't do the best job of providing information or having information out there. So if there are other financial programs, I would love to hear about them, but I don't know about them, and I'm fully entrenched in boxing. So that's why I have DO management, where I act in the capacity of either a manager or an agent for fighters. And I'll talk about the agent perspective, because with management, I don't necessarily do that too much. When I do management, I invest heavily in the fighters and take care of everything from the training, paying for the training, medical stuff, anything that needs to be done regards to their fighting. But as far as an agent, which I act as an agent for fighters, amateur and professional, what I do as an agent is I take a percentage of a small percentage of the purse, especially if that's the only capacity I'm acting for that fighter or for that athlete. And when it comes to sponsorship, I take 50% of the sponsorship. And I know a lot of people, sometimes their head turns when they hear, oh, 50%. But if nobody is going out there and getting sponsorship, or if that athlete has never gone out there and got sponsorship before, initially it's all of my legwork. So they're getting 50% of something that they've gotten 100% of nothing from before. I'll go out, I'll knock on doors, I'll go and have several meetings, sometimes ending up with nothing to show for it. But I make that investment in order to try and get fighters sponsored. And my compensation is when I do get successful in finding that sponsorship, then I can recoup some of that money back that I invested in order to get, and hopefully make something at the end. So that's what it's all about. It's not just about going out there and asking for sponsorship too. You got to be able to provide something of value for the actual sponsor. And so as an agent, that's what I do. I make sure that the athlete is continuing to provide value to those companies so that the sponsorship can continue to go. And luckily I have a lot of businesses and different things that I can offer as an asset in order to keep those sponsors interested in continuing to do business. But yeah, I don't know of any other financial services that's offered for fighters that's provided by any of the governing bodies, or even that's offered by the government, or that's out there in general. So if somebody is looking for financial assistance, I would suggest to them that they need to either go out and get the sponsorship, or they need to go out and find out who are the good managers and agents that are out there that do what they say, back up what they say, and put their money on the line. You don't necessarily need an agent or a manager that has a lot of money, but if they're able to go out there and generate it for you, then you're going to be in good hands. The main thing is you got to know where to ask, and being able to know where to ask is just doing research, doing your homework, talking to people, finding out from the people that are with them or have been with them what they actually do. And, you know, if those people are honest, you're going to get an honest assessment. Unfortunately, if they're not honest, you won't get an honest assessment. But that's the best that I can answer that in general terms during this episode. But if you have, any of you out there, if you have any more specific questions, either about the management agent side of it, how our company does it, or you're just looking to get some tips on how you can better go after the sponsorship yourself, ask us a question. We'll turn it into an episode, or you can get a DO International Boxing Consulting session. It's $50 an hour. We can do it over the phone or in person, but the option's up to you, and we're here and we're available and we're open for business. So you can get to us at Twitter at DOKPOSIO, or through Hotmail, Okposio@hotmail.com, through Facebook if you wish, and we're available and ready to deal with anyone. Thank you for tuning into another episode of the DO Boxing Show.